Welcome to PHP Tutorial, guys. So today we are going to talk about one more important topic of how PHP is used in the web development, which is cookie. Now, most of you probably would be familiar with cookie and why cookies are used, but at least I assume there may be few people who may not know about it. So let me honor their presence here. So the cookies are used to store values of a user session. Now what does that mean? So let's say you are shopping in Amazon, right? And you add a item to your shopping cart, and then you visit some things, and then other pages, and you come back at the end, you just want to sort of to check out. So how Amazon remembers that you have stored certain items in your shopping cart? Because remember, the HTTP protocol is a request response protocol. So that means so what that means is that, let's say you visit a web page and then you go to another web page, so that the second web page doesn't know really what you did in the first web page, because it's a connect disconnect. So you first connect to the web page, then you connect to Amazon, you get it, and the next time you go, Amazon really doesn't know unless it does something specific. So the way to solve this problem is handling cookies, through cookies. So at least one of the ways. So how it happens is that Amazon, and I'm not saying that Amazon does it that way, because there are different ways you can do it, but one of the ways you store the session information is using cookies. So what you do is that let's say when you first web page you go, you add an item to the cart, you create a cookie and store the information about this item in the cookie. And so that when you go to the next page, when you do the checkout, you retrieve the information from the cookie. Now cookies are stored in a client browser. What that means is that stored in your local machine, and only the web page, only the domain which has set its cookies only can retrieve it. So that example, let's say you go to Amazon, or you go to, let's say, eBay. eBay cannot really retrieve Amazon cookies. So that's the basic web security is already implemented by all the browser vendors. So cookies are not really available across domains. Okay. So having said that, let's start with the cookies. So there are two basic functions. One is a set cookie, another is a retrieve cookie. So set cookie is, you say here you are setting the cookie and you are putting user ID, and you are putting, so let's give it a better name, which is, let's say, foo123. And when you set the cookie, you put a time. So that means you are saying is that 1800. That means 1800 milliseconds, which is around 30 minutes, if I calculate correctly. So we are setting two variables, user ID and username. And then we are setting the expiration time, and then so that's about it. And then here we are retrieving the cookies. So this is the way you retrieve the cookies. You say cookie, just like the way we did in our other variables. If you remember, like say post or get or files. So just like the way PHP also stores cookies in a cookie associative arrays, and you can retrieve it like this, or you can retrieve the entire cookie, whatever is stored here. So it will give you all the cookies associated with that domain. Remember, you're always restricted with within the domain. So let's just run it and see how it works. So we're just going to load the page. So when you load the page, what happens? This cookie gets set, and then cookie gets so let's put something foo, and so we refresh the page. Okay, so we are getting some information from the cache, so that's why you don't see here. So let's save the file, and okay, so as you see here, we have retrieved the cookies foo, David, and this is the entire cookie array. So it has got some other stuff which probably was set before and which didn't expire. So now here you have a warning. What is it? Cannot modify information, header already sent by that, etc, etc, etc. See, like the line number. In the line number 30. So let's see what's going on with 30. So here we're trying to expire the cookie. See, if you see, when you expire the cookie, you say set cookie, but why is it saying line number expired? Is because, see, the set cookie function, how internally the cookie works is that cookie is a part of browser header. Now, what that means is that your server sends the information to the browser and browser sets a cookie. So when you do set cookie, what your server is telling, because this is within PHP, right? So the web, when you execute the code test.php and in the server, when server sees this thing, it sends the information user ID with the value to the browser header, and then browser stores it. Now if browser already receives some information, then it doesn't have the access to the header anymore. So for example, what does that mean? For example, if you say something like okay. So what you are saying is that we put a text. Now, since this appears at the top of the file, the browser would receive this text first, and it'll keep it within the, it'll show it in the browser, and then it'll start doing the other one. So what will that mean is that these information, user ID or whatever server is sending, it will not be available to the browser header, so the cookie would not get set. So let's test it out. So let's say we are trying to set the cookie to foo, right? And we have displayed some information about that. So that you will see that the cookie would not get reset. So it will remain as foo, and you'll get a warning message. And okay. So we have our text. Now we have and warning, say cannot modify the error information header already sent by so and so at line number 3 in PHP 3 in line number 8. So what is this saying is that it cannot set the cookie because the header information is already sent by this line, right? So if you remove this line, and you will see that the cookie is still not reset. It's still showing the old value instead of the new value foo. It's still showing the foo_foo. So if you remove the line, let's see if that does. Okay, I think we are having some caching issues. Let's try a different browser. Okay, we are having some issues, so let me fix it. Okay, so we are back. Oh, we had some extra single quotes, so that's why it was causing some issues. So by the way, so we are back again. So now you see foo. So it's been able to solve. So now sometimes you would still see the error if you have a space here, right? So remember, space is still, that means browser is receiving a space here, so it is displaying the space. So space for all practical purpose also is similar to just putting a text. So it cannot, your cookie is the first information browser has to receive from the server. Then only it can set the cookie. Now in terms of expiration of the cookie, the same thing goes. It cannot expire the cookie if you have information, if browser receives the information before. So because in all these things are getting displayed and then you are doing a set cookie, then it's not really working this code. By the way, so when you're trying to expire a cookie, the way to do it is that you set the cookie, but you do a time, expiration time, which is in the past. So here we are doing we are doing 1800 milliseconds in the past. So if you want to really expire the cookie, what you can do is that you can set the cookie, and here you can expire. Okay, so let's comment out this line and we'll expire the cookie. We don't need these things. So we expire the cookie. So when you come here, you will see user ID is gone, but user name would still be there because username we are not expiring. So let's, okay. So I think we're getting some information from the cache. So let's retrieve it again. Okay, here you see user is blank, but user name still exists. So just to recap, what we did is we discussed about the cookies. We learned that cookie, set cookie, and the cookie information needs to be at the first line on the browser. So the set cookie, these by the time the code comes here, nothing should be displayed beforehand, not even the space. To delete a cookie, you have to just set the cookie with a past time in the expiration, and to retrieve a cookie, all you do is this. That's all. So in the next video, we'll discuss what are the other methods of migrating or exchanging variables across browser sessions other than cookie. Thanks.